Too many nights out in the bar room. We spent one too many nights at home alone. I promise I never made eyes at any girls on guys, picking fights on my way back home. But I do confess to drinking too much whiskey, coming home to work a love away.
Welcome back to Britain's Rare Guitars. We have a fantastic country rock band for you based in London called Backwoods Creek. Hello guys.
Hey there, I'm Jamie. I do a little bit of the old singing and I play a small amount of guitar.
Hi, I'm Yannick. I'm the guitarist and the backing vocalist.
Hello, I'm Dean and I do a bit of guitars as well and also a little bit of that background singing.
I like this, it's great. Everybody's on guitar and singing. Have you got a drummer?
we do, we don't let him out that often though.
I happen to know he's called Camille and he's not here tonight, I bless him. We are all about guitars, but we do not mind talking to the odd drummer. And he has a tough time because I hear he's the manager as well. Do you do what he tells you to do?
We try our best to do what he tells us to do, as long as he does what we tell him to do first.
Is it a democracy?
I think, yeah, we'll stick with that word. We'll stick with democracy today. But come back to us soon and we might have a new word for it.
What's the story of the band forming? Can you tell us about that?
It kind of started when we met at college. Jamie and I were in the same classes and he told me he was interested in country music. And lo and behold, we ended up in his flat, started writing songs together, and that turned into a band somehow.
We went through various kind of iterations of the band, I guess. So we've had everything from 8 members down to the 5 we are now. And I think there was probably October 2019 was when the lineup is kind of finalised as it is now. So we're now 3 guitars, bass, drums, all 5 of us singing. And yeah, we've stuck it out like that now.
Why country music? What made you guys want to do country?
Go on, Dean.
I guess there's 2 things that come to mind for me. The first one is the storytelling. Behind all the guitars, behind all the big drums, all that kind of stuff. The actual stories behind the tunes are kind of what drew us all into it, I think. It was a big selling point to us. So yeah, storytelling, that's the main one. And number 2 is it's acceptable 80s rock, isn't it? You can't be in Bon Jovi anymore, but you can put on a bit of an accent and tell your stories that way. Still have the big guitars.
You're probably at home just wondering how I'm doing. Well, girl, you know I'm doing just fine. It's only been a week, but I'm back on my feet. I ain't the type waste any time. In fact, I met a new girl just the other day. I'm gonna treat her like a real man should. I'll give her flowers and chocolates without any reason. Yeah, she'll be living real good. Well, it could have been you, but it wasn't. You can't take it back. Yeah, you gotta live with that. You know it's true that you wanted. If you'd have cared enough, I'd have done the same for you.
In the relatively short time you've been active on the circuit, you've released quite a few albums and EPs. One that stands out for me I did like is called Could Have Been You. I think it's a nice example of excellent mixing between the vocals and the guitars. But in this lockdown period, so many bands, it's been a nightmare for them, but you've actually been proactive and released a new single called Better Days. What's the lyrics behind that?
It's very much a storytelling song. I know we mentioned about storytelling being one of the things that drew us to the music. It's one of those songs that talks about how you can be in a position where you're not happy with where you are, you're not where you want to be, but you know no matter what happens, you can get back into a position that you're gonna be happy with. You're gonna get back to those better days.
Every step that I take takes me one more way.
Yeah, I like this big production sound that I'm talking about. Plenty of headroom, separation with the guitars. We'll talk about the guitars, and I love these harmonies as well that you're both doing. But before you go into the studio, do spend days and hours on pre-production and go in with it completely in your head so you want it to finish, or do you go in with a rough idea and rely on a really good record producer to bring the best out of you?
So the basis of the last few singles came from the rehearsal room. We've got our own little mixer desk where we can take the audio feed from and play to a click. So we could make a raw scratch take of the song, and when we come to record the song properly, our drummer would have the song in his ears rather than play from memory.
So when we've got the drums laid down, when Camille's in there, he's got us technically from the rehearsal room in his ears. We can start building, and while he's tucked away in the studio doing that, we're either sat in the control room or sat somewhere nice and posh, not really, working out all the extras, you know, little guitar bits here, little vocal bits over there. A good example on Could Have Been You, actually, the previous single to Better Days, and we kind of brought this into Better Days as well, was a Queen style thing where we stack the guitar harmonies up and things like that. That was Yannick's idea, and we've really kind of brought those back into Better Days. Maybe not so bold and in your face, but definitely taken from that Queen Thin Lizzy style approach of guitar playing, bring those harmonies in. So once they're all done behind the scenes, we'll jump in after Camille and George, the bass player, and start piecing it together.
Once everyone's kind of arranged their parts and everything, the funniest thing for me is we'll get into the actual recording of the guitars, and we're very much onto like the four mics and getting the room sound and all that kind of thing. But with both Yannick and Dean, you'll get in the room, you'll get there with the parts ready to go, and then about 5 hours later, you'll have another 10 parts that have come out of nowhere that are now on the track and now make the track. And that's my favourite part, I think, of the recording process.
That's great, guys. I love the recording process you've got there. But it's not just original stuff you're doing, is it? I mean, over lockdown, you have done quite a batch of really intricate covers. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, please?
Obviously, primarily we were a country rock band, but we really wanted to make the most of our time kind of away from being able to play live and do all that kind of thing. So we thought we'd spread as wide as we could. So we've done everything from, I don't know, Zac Brown Band, your classic country thing, to Hanson, a bit of like 90s pop. We've done some Kansas, we've done some Toto, just anything we could, and all the music we love, basically, to show that is what makes us as a band. It's not just a single track kind of thing.
It's not in the way that you hold me. It's not in the way you say you care. It's not in the way you've been treating my friend. It's not in the way that you stare to the end. It's not in the way you look on the things that you say that you do. Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
We basically just play about with ideas on how to make the video more interesting, because you see a lot of videos in lockdown where it's just 5 guys in boxes, And we like to be a bit more creative with it and almost treat it like it's a music video. So you'll see some animation happening. There's one where Jamie is like he's looking in a mirror at himself. And we basically play about with ideas and make it as interesting as possible.
Because some of these tracks don't necessarily have two guitars on normally, me and Yannick might sit down and kind of arrange things. If we've got to add a new part, then we'll do that. If we just want to kind of flesh things out, we'll go for that as well. So that's all the instrumentation sorted. And then when it comes to vocals, Jamie will be kind enough to lay us down a quick guide vocal. And usually Yannick will then put together this kind of 5-part intense vocal arrangement that we then slap on the top. And yeah, we piece it all together, and yeah, then we send it all back to the King of the Creek there, James, and he mixes it all and things like that, all in-house.
It's not in the words that you told me, girl. It's not in the way you say you're mine. Ooh. It's not in the way that you came back to me. It's not in the way that your love set me free. It's not in the way you let go of things that you say that you do. Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. Hold the line.
Yes, I think in country rock, all this sort of stuff we're talking, essentially 3 or 4 part harmony is great, is what you're up to. But I'm also very interested in the guitars. We've got acoustic, we've got slide, we've got single coils, we've got humbuckers. There's a big variation, and I love the harmonies and the tightness of it. Tell me about the guitars. Is somebody, or one of you, always playing a single coil and somebody else always playing a humbucker, or do you share and do you mix? How do you decide?
Generally, I go about with what tuning the guitar is in. So I have my Telecaster, which is just a parts Telecaster that I put together myself, and it's got 2 single coils, like a classic Tele setup. This one's always in standard tuning, and then if it's another song that's probably in drop tuning, I'll use this guitar. Every now and again, I might tune my Les Paul up, so I've got a Les Paul Standard, which I'll use, which is now an open G, which I tend to use for slide-based stuff. But there have been a couple of other tunes where we did lower tuning, so I did it to E flat standard or even D standard for Kansas.
There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
And then the Strat, I only use for one video at the moment, and that is purely because it's got a floating bridge and I wanted to do a nice dive bomb in the middle of the song. And then lastly, I've also got my Taylor acoustic, which I'll use for a couple songs, just for Jamie to focus more on mixing, and I just take care of the acoustic and basically cut the time down for him, that he's not doing too much work.
I think the fact that you said dive bomb during the song says it all for me, because we're talking about country, but country rock. So there's some great rock riffs in there that would please the hardened rock fan, I know. So you've got a lot of guitars, you swap around, you've all got your number 1s, your number 2s and all that. How many do you take on stage?
I'm usually using 2 or 3 in the studio, but if I've got to jump on stage, I can whittle it down to 2. Usually 1, and I'll give the reason in a sec, but number 2, if I just bring it in there, would be my ES339, a little bit smaller than a 335, because I'm a little bit smaller than your average man, so that helps out. Put a little, the guitar fans will enjoy this one. I'll show it up to the camera. Could put a little Duesenberg trem on there recently, which is a great little attachment. And then The number one, which basically because it stays in tune excellently, would be the just a Mexican Telecaster with a few upgrades, some pickup upgrades. It stays in tune, it works. There's not many switches, as you know, with a normal Telecaster. A little bit of an upgrade. Got a 4-way switch here. It's going up to a 5 soon. Kind of like the Jerry Donahue thing, if any of your viewers know about how he modifies his tellies. But if I've got to, that would be number one.
Well, that's a lot of guitars to tour with. If you've got like 3 or 4 guitar techs or one poor fella that's getting beaten into the submission, put my strings on.
We're all independently tech, so we do all our own tech and everything. I think we're quite picky as guitarists, so we like to have everything set to our own kind of ways.
The pandemic has been a pain for so many live acts. Leading up to it, you were obviously building up a big name for yourself. Not that it's going to come back, obviously, but you were getting success with awards and some prestigious gigs as well. Tell us about those.
Last year, we were jumping on gigs like Country to Country Festival at the O2 Arena in London. We were lucky enough to receive an award for our tune When I Grow Up as well. That was great for us. Really good that so many people connected with that song, and also the video as well. Really pleased with that.
When I grow up, I'll be as big as a bear. I'm gonna have a roller coaster just for myself. There won't be any room for anyone else when I grow up. I'm gonna grow out of bed. I'm gonna wear a fancy suit when I go to church. Have more money than the size of the earth when I grow up. So many things that I'm gonna do because I wish on a star to let my dreams come true. Fly around the world and go off into space. Back in time for dinner and I'll clean my plate. I'm gonna make my dad proud and you can bet I'll give my mama the world. I'm gonna do it all when I grow up.
So are you writing now for the next big free period when we get out there? I mean, you've written, to say, Better Days with the lyrics about the problems we're having. Are you looking ahead to write for the excitement when you get back out again?
For sure, we're always writing really. We've actually got a load of group writing sessions booked in where the 5 of us get together, just in a room, get all sweaty and press the record button and see what happens. But yeah, we're quite open. We'll have songs that we've written 3 years ago that we'll breathe new life into. We'll have brand new songs coming out. We've already got the next kind of few set out already anyway, but we're very much open to anything when it comes to writing.
Yeah, that's good. I was going to say, I think you answered that then. Is there one writer, or do you bring lots of things to the table? Guitarists bring to the table. We haven't talked about the bass lines. That's something else I found very good that George is doing. There's a real cement down the bottom end there.
George is a new boy in the band at the moment. He joined in October, but he is laying down some proper like groovy, unexpected stuff. He seems to be playing the fretless quite a bit as well. And I don't know if anyone else plays fretless at all, but the boy's intonation is ridiculous. So yeah, having him on board as well has been a massive solidification. He's properly solidified. A word like that. He's properly solidified that rhythm section. So him and Camille lock in really nicely together. And yeah, it's worked out really well. And obviously coming on board, doing the writing stuff. We're all writing. Everyone's going on it. Obviously, as with most bands, it will start with a core song that someone brings to the group, but we'll we'll do whatever we can to it. We like to put all of our names down as the writers for most songs, just because it is very much a group thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, song content is brilliant. Very, very good, I must say. But I did like the single before, which was called On the Line, I believe. That was a favourite. And the new one, Better Days, has just been released. What date was that released?
That was released just last Friday.
Where can we buy it? Obviously from your website, but where else?
The best way to find it is to go onto our website, where we've got links to any digital platform. So the big ones at the moment obviously being Spotify for streaming. We've got Apple there, Amazon for purchasing. And if you want to pick up any merch that coincides with it, that's straight on there with the link as well.
Well, thanks, Gareth, and thanks to everybody in Backwoods Creek. Great interview, loved it. And we're now going to play out with the latest single, Better Days.
Every time I look back down that empty highway, I see you there standing, begging me to stay. So take me back to better days, when times were simple, before things changed. I wanna go where it all began. Tell my mama, don't worry, see me again. See me again. Sun beating down with sweat on my face. I've been walking for miles, pushing through all the pain. 'Cause when it starts shouting, better keep up the pace. There's no other choice except hell to pay. So take me back to better days, when times were simple, before things changed. I wanna go where it all began. Tell my mama, don't worry, see me again. See me again. Rain's pouring down, there's smoke in the air. I don't know where I'm going, why I chose here. But I feel okay as I walk close to the light. I can hear Daddy saying, it'll be alright. So take me back